everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Eve, this is Everyday Artist, and welcome. And this is Rogue. How are you, baby? She always wants to lick my face. One of the things, sorry, I did comb my hair today, it just doesn't look like it. When your hair is short, it just does whatever it wants. When it's long, it's hot. Today is the second to last day of, sorry about the sun, I put the blind up, but it's still very bright. It's January 30th, one more day of January. And I don't know what number Flosstube this is, it's 200 and something. And today is a very strange day. I was feeling sick almost all of January. And this last week, I felt like I was feeling better. I started getting back into doing the things I needed to do. And then this weekend, I started feeling really awful. And yesterday, I could not get warm. I'm like, isn't it freezing here? And everybody's like, no, it's okay. Couldn't get warm. And the temperatures were outside were cold for Phoenix, but not freezing, you know, but I'm under a big heavy blanket and I'm still shivering. And then I guess my fever broke last night and I was really hot. I don't know. I'm finally going to go to the doctor and say, okay, what's going on? I can't get well. I thought it was just a cold. Won't go away. So today I have mostly cross stitch. I'm going to talk about WIPGO a little bit. I have a little bit of quilting and a little bit of knitting. And because I only have a little bit of knitting and a little bit of quilting, I'm going to talk about those first. And hopefully my thoughts will be somewhat organized. It's already midday and I couldn't get going today. So hopefully this video will make sense. Let me scoot forward and see if that's better. Anyway, I showed you my knitting project last week and I really hadn't made any headway even though I had knit on it. But then I had to, what my sister calls tink, which is, you know, take it out. And so I worked on it this week. I don't know what's going on here. I didn't want to take it out of the bag and have it get, you know, off the needle or something. But this is where I am. Now, if you remember last week, I had done up to about here. So that's where it is. Now, I still am not done with the second clue, I think it's called. I have one more section. And that section is lace work. Right here. And you know, I've been knitting a long time. I mean, I learned how when I was very, very young. And I'd done lace work before, but the instruction for this had a symbol that I was like, what does that mean? And so I looked it up in the glossary of symbols and it explained there how to do it. And I went, huh? And don't you gotta love YouTube? I looked it up and, you know, and I went, oh, that's easy. So, you know, and I do that a lot of times, even with cross-stitch instructions when, oops, sorry, even when I, you know, when I see something that I don't understand, I go and I look it up. It's so wonderful that people make I mean, just little short instructional videos on you know, very would end up you feeling going, oh, well, that's easy. I could have done that, you know, and it's just a matter of the instructions clicking, and sometimes reading things, you know, even if you know how to read and you know how to, you know, read instructions and all that other stuff, you can't picture in your mind how those things are supposed to go when you're reading it. And then when you see somebody do it, you're like, okay, now I get it. Now I get it. Now I understand. So it wasn't particularly difficult. It was just, I'd never seen that symbol before. Okay, so that is all of my knitting. Sorry, my phone is in my pocket and making me crazy. Okay, so next, my quilting, which as I said, wasn't a lot. Itty Bitty Kitty Committee. I have all the kitties made, and of course this, I didn't have to do anything there. This is from a charm pack. This instruction has you use charm packs, so, you know, it's just the charm pack. I am right now putting this sashing, but I don't want to, I laid it out, so I don't want to get the rows mixed up, right? Well, when I went to start back at it, and last week my sister was working on stuff at the table where I sew, and I just let her do it. But when she works on stuff, she, you know, makes an explosion of stuff. And if you're going to work on quilts where you want to lay out stuff, you can't do it in this much room, you know. So so I waited. So I did a couple of days on it, but I realized that this last row was wrong. I had to have some of the cats up here, so I kind of rearranged. I had already sewn 2 rows, so I just kind of rearranged it with that, and that took a very long time. And then I stacked it like this with the sashing that went with it. This is for the sashing that goes in between rows, and this is for the cornerstones. And so I'm supposed to cut this and then, you know, sew this end to this end, you know, to make that whole row. Which she said, well, this is easier and faster than sewing little squares to it. And I'm like, okay, I'll try it. And so far this is all I've done. So I didn't want to take out the cutting mat because I was trying to fit this into a very short amount of time. So I did 2 more rows, and oops. So these rows, they start with sorry, they're very long and I don't want to. The first one starts with a cat. The next one starts with a square. The next one starts with a cat. So I sewed this row and it was fine. And then I did the next one. Except I started it with a square. I could have sworn I had these laid out right, and I'm like, how did that happen? But I don't know if I want to fix this or I want to just switch it with the one I'm doing next, because a cat is on the top. And so what I'm going to do is sew that row and then look and see if the gradient still it's not really a gradient, but kind of, sort of. works works well. So what the problem is, what I see how she has light cats to darker cats and dark squares to lighter squares. So I tried to do it kind of like that, but you see even in this it's kind of, there's light squares here, and you know. Anyway, if it looks like it'll be okay, I'm going to do that. So I didn't get very far on that. Hopefully this week I'll get a little more done. But we'll see. And one of the things I did this weekend was I went shopping to Joann's. I had a gift card, and I just said, you know, I need some thread. So this is for sewing thread. This is getting out of control, my stuff. So I just got my thread and got this too. The storage stuff was on sale. So hopefully my sewing stuff will be just a little bit more organized. We'll see. That's not all my haul, but well, I was talking about sewing. Okay, so now the stitching I did this past week. I'm a very far behind on my seasonal berry sal, and I'm going to get even further behind, which I will explain later. But right now, I'm working on this one. That's okay, because winter comes every year, right? So part of the problem is I decided to do the white with Etoile. I don't know if you can see that it sparkles a little bit, but Etoile does. Well, working with white on white is difficult in the best of circumstances. But with Etoile, if you make a mistake, it's harder to pull it out without destroying the thread. So I was having so much fun with that. So I switched back to working. I'm almost done with this bird. I've got to put his feet on. And I decided to go ahead and do the stitching on the words. That's supposed to say let. I think I got it where it's supposed to be. It, you know, the L kind of, and it goes up. But I don't know. Yeah, it's positioned right. And you can kind of sort of read it. So I'm halfway through the N on snow. And I'm going to get as much of this done as I can today, as I reasonably can. Hopefully I'll be very close to done with that one. But when February starts, I have a mess. So we'll see. Now, the other stitching was on this month's WIPGO, which was Cute Boots. I've got one more day to make my goal. I didn't stitch anything at all yesterday. Yesterday was a horrible day. But I was trying to get the body done. And I'm very close. This is the bottom here. So I'm very close to getting this done. So I think I can knock this out. I'm trying to do all the colors but one, and then just fill in with that. And next time I pick it up, I can do the legs and the boots. And depending on how that takes, then the next time I can do the water, you know. But I love the way it's coming out. It's very, you know, one stitch here, one stitch, you know, of a color. And so it's easy to get it in the wrong place. Well, it's easy for me to get it in the wrong place because you know how well I count. Anyway. And then we have the temperature cell. I didn't say who Cute Boots was by. And I didn't say who the berries were by. All of the berries I have are by Erica Michaels. But Cute Boots is Joe Gattenby for X's and O's. And I've said it before, but this is on 28 count even weave that I dyed myself. And this is 32 count Lugana in the color Stormy Clouds, something like that. I'm sorry, I don't ever remember to say that. Okay, so this is Sapphire Mountain Handcrafts, and it was designed by Kristin Ashley. And I love it. It looks so Southwest. So, yeah. So, I stitched more of the border, but I didn't want to go too far. So, I'm going to stitch from Friday to tomorrow. And that'll tell me how far that border is supposed to go before I have to go down. And then there's an indent on the pattern. It's backwards, so I have to check what I'm doing. Okay, so I started here, went this way. When I come here, I've got to put this little indent in, and then I go this way. So February 1 is going to be right there. So on Wednesday, I want to try to get the rest of the border down to here so that I can start February. On that one, I don't want to try to wait till Friday, but I might. Depends on what my week is like, because yeah, it's been such a yeah. Anyway. Oh, by the way, at Joanne, my gift card was for $25, and I spent exactly $25. Yeah. Anyway. Okay, so I'm going to do Winter Crossstitch Camp. And I chose this pattern. And I chose it, I'm going to do this berry. Now, it is bigger, more stitch count than this one, because it's meant to be done on silk gauze, which would make it much smaller than the other one. I've just decided no, I don't want to do that. I have enough trouble seeing 32 count. Yeah, I don't want to try that. So I held up, this is Morning Glory right here, filled in. I held up, I also had a gift certificate to the attic. So we went to the attic on Saturday, and I held up, did we go on Friday? Anyway, I held up this color to their 30 count linen. They didn't have, they were very down on colors of many of their threads, especially the higher counts, fabrics, especially the higher counts in like Lugana and linen, some linens and stuff. They had a lot of browns and all that in a couple of others that they don't hang on this little display. But I didn't want brown. So I held up the thread to all the colors, and I found this 32 count Belfast linen in the color Blue Ice, and it is almost exactly the color of that thread. So I decided to use this, but because it's 32 count instead of silk gauze, it's gonna be bigger than my other berries, but because it's a snowman, I can live with that. And there's plenty of this for me to do the other berry on if I ever want to do that. So, yay! So, I'm going to do this for Crossstitch Camp. I bought some threads as well as that fabric. I didn't buy, I had most of these threads. So I didn't buy tons of thread. I think I got 2. A couple that I really wanted weren't there, but I had a lot of them, and so I just bought what I could. They had a lot of thread, and the ones I wanted I had to bend completely over because they were toward the bottom, so I think they're not there, but I might have missed them. But I'm pretty sure they're not there. And so now we get to, I have one more thing of haul also from the attic, but I'll show it to you in a minute. A WIPGO for February. Numbers were 7 and 11. And number 7 was Sewing Bee. And I did this already, and so I'm going to do this. Now, I didn't have this in the same project bag as my other berries. And for some reason, I moved it out of that project bag. Maybe the day that I was showing you all the projects that I had chosen for WIPGO. I know I didn't put these threads back with my other threads, but I can't find them. So I'm really going to have to just buckle down and see see where they are. And then the other WIPGO, number 11, was supposed to be Black Halloween. And I just decided that I didn't want to work on Halloween in February. March, I wouldn't care. Not so much April. Probably the rest of the time until October or whatever, I wouldn't care. But I'm not big on Valentine's Day. I don't do a lot of Valentine-y things. I was married on Valentine's Day, and let me just say that day has just lost its allure for me. I'm no longer married. Let's just put it that way. Okay, so I decided to switch it with another one, and and that would have been a new start because I'm working on that series. I have finished one and I want to do the other two. But so I chose one that was also a new start that I wanted to work on. And this is Rabbits, Carrots, and Eggs by Stitchy Princess. I haven't figured out which fabric exactly that I want to use, but I think I know. But I'm not going to worry about whether or not the rabbits will show up in white. If they don't show up in white, what I'm going to do is make them brown. Because I saw somebody who made them brown and they were adorable. So I won't make the other little eggs brown. Probably I'll just choose a pastel or something. But I like the pattern and it's very cute, and so I'll do that instead. And I'm gonna do that in the first part of the month, because I'll be working on finishing that winter berry and doing the snowman berry, and that's enough berries. So I'll do the other berry in the second half of the month, and these are 10 days each, so that's what I'll do. And then this is the last thing. My gift certificate, the attic prefers not to run a credit card if it's below a certain amount. Now, they're not ugly about it and they don't refuse, but it costs them money every time they use a card. And since the certificate took up almost all of what I was buying, there was like $1 something left. Oh, I'm going to charge $1 something. And I wasn't sure I had enough cash in my purse. So I decided to buy something I'd been eyeing there for a while. Now, I've taken it out of its bag because I did. Oh no, I hope I didn't break it. Well, the other piece that fell out is under the couch. So it's a little plastic heart like this. This is the bottom side. And it's a little kit to make this. So it has the beads for making this scissor fob and the pattern for this, and the linen to do this. It has the ribbon for making that, and it's got a piece of felt for, this is a needle case. This is by Praiseworthy Stitches. And the pattern, it says needles here, but on the other one side of it, it'll say pins. So, so it came with the backing fabric and some bristle board for making the hearts, some ribbon. Came with everything you need to put it together. And I had been eyeing that for a while. Every time I walked by them, I was like, those are so cute. So I just went ahead and got it. But I couldn't get the little bag to close again, so I wasn't keeping it in the bag. Yeah. But I wanted to look at it for several reasons. I was excited. It also came with the thread. So, how did this happen? My goodness. So I it was all I could do not to stitch on it the other day. So I'm kind of excited, and hopefully I'll finish it before next week, because I don't think I'm going to have any other finishes. I know. Anyway, that's everything for today. I almost forgot to film this video. I was just kind of staring off into space. I have things I need to do. So now I got to go heart hunting to find the other half of this heart. So I'll see you all next week. Happy stitching. Bye.